Assassin's Creed Mirage will be the next chapter in the Assassin's Creed franchise, and it will reportedly return to the original gameplay that many players, including me, have missed. In a plot that promises to be deeply rooted in the core Assassin Templar mythology, it will follow Basim before the events of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Many players are thrilled to see the series return to its roots, but Ubisoft has a lot to prove with Assassin's Creed Mirage if it wants to captivate fans thrown off by the current trilogy. The Assassin's Creed franchise has been in a period of change, while Ubisoft tries to figure out exactly what the brand should look like. Assassin's Creed Origins started this experimental period, while Odyssey and Valhalla carried it to the next level. These games have received criticism for departing from what made Assassin's Creed unique, and have turned off some fans who have followed the franchise since its inception. Assassin's Creed Mirage appears to bring back the iconic sensation. It remains to be seen if Ubisoft can pull it off. Before Assassin's Creed Origins, Ubisoft released an Assassin's Creed title virtually every year. These games transported players throughout history and placed them in the shoes of various killers. They had influence over Ezio during the Italian Renaissance, Connor during the American Revolution, the Fry brothers in London during the Industrial Revolution, and even Edward Kenway during the Pirates of the Caribbean. While the stories were all different, they were all linked by the fictional Assassin Templar battle that had raged throughout history. Many individuals were tired of the Assassin's Creed franchise by the time of Assassin's Creed Syndicate. The games were set in different eras, but they were all essentially the same experience with a new coat of paint. With Assassin's Creed Origins, Ubisoft sought to fix the problem by taking the franchise in an entirely new path. It took the franchise back further than it had ever gone before, totally revamping the series' basic gameplay from action-adventure to open-world RPG. This new direction was a big success for Ubisoft, and it decided to stick with it. Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla enhanced the RPG gameplay and transported the series to new eras. Both titles were enormous games that may take hundreds of hours to complete, and both garnered a lot of positive feedback. Valhalla, in particular, became one of the fastest-selling Assassin's Creed titles and had the most successful PC launch of any Ubisoft game. While the last two Assassin's Creed games were enjoyable, there was something missing. In its quest to reinvigorate the franchise, Ubisoft appears to have abandoned the game's central Assassin-Templar conflict. Odyssey had players in charge of a Greek mercenary who was uninterested in the Hidden One's war, and Valhalla put them in control of a Viking fighting for a position in Britain while the Hidden Ones set out on their own trip. Both games were enjoyable historical RPGs, but neither had anything in common with Assassin's Creed. The departure from the main Assassin's Creed tale disappointed some franchise fans, but so did the gameplay. The early games were action-adventure titles with a focus on stealth. Many of the early games were based on the idea of sneaking about vast cities and assassinating targets with hidden blades. These newer games were more focused on traveling these big open landscapes to grind out levels in classic RPG way. Stealth still played a factor in the newer titles, but it was no longer the focus. Assassinations also still existed, but players could no longer sneak around in the shadows to kill their target with one stab of their iconic Assassin's Creed hidden blade. Instead, players would have to be aware of the level of their target and make sure that their level was comparable if they wanted to stand a chance. This was an unfortunate symptom of Ubisoft's new RPG direction, and it caused some players to lose interest in the franchise. It sounds like Assassin's Creed Mirage will be the franchise's return to form, which is fantastic news for fans. Action-adventure gameplay will be back in the game, and stealth will be emphasized a lot more. The Assassin Templar struggle will also be back, and players will be exploring a single city rather than a fast open globe as in more recent games. There hasn't been any gameplay released by Ubisoft, but if it succeeds, it might be the Assassin's Creed game that fans have been waiting for. However, if the game intends to have a lasting influence, it must launch with a bang. Which isn't just going to be hard for the franchise, but it's also going to be very hard for you, Ubisoft. So take notes. Even though the previous few games have been entertaining, they have also significantly strayed from the original appeal of the series. Assassin's Creed Mirage must be excellent and heavily emphasize the qualities that made the original game outstanding, which does come with the additional added difficulty of the missing new factor. The last time that the assassin conflict was central to the plot of the game was with Assassin's Creed Origins. That game showed the beginning of the Brotherhood and their war with the Templars. The following titles have positioned that plotline more in the background. Assassin's Creed Mirage will mark the return of that conflict to the forefront, and Ubisoft needs to make sure it gets it right. If the story is in line with the great tales of Ezio, Edward or Altair, then older fans may flock to it. But if it's written like the newer games, then those fans may just stay away. Though if it's written heavily to tinker towards the older games, then it will be hard for the new fans to get on board with the older plot. Assassin's Creed Mirage is Ubisoft's chance to pull fans back to the series, and it needs to tread carefully so that it does not mess up. Again, Ubisoft. It needs to represent everything that made the series good in the first place, and build on it. Because it could just kickstart a new era for this 15-year-old franchise. Having said that, get your hidden bread and butter knives out and get ready for some hardcore parkour through the city. And if you think an old lady is onto what you're doing, just hide behind a fruit stand. And while you're there, make sure to like and subscribe to the video.